When I was 7 years old, I can remember playing with my tractors in my mom's garden, pretending that I was a farmer just like my father. My mom didn't appreciate me stomping around in the garden, but I was there anyways because I loved getting my hands dirty and enjoyed being around all the things that dealt with agriculture. My name is Chris Hipwell. I'm the former manager of Hipwell Farm and Ranch. I'm a fourth generation rancher and farmer, and I love doing it. I love it so much that when I went to college, I wanted to get a degree in something that dealt with agriculture. So I decided to get a degree in agribusiness with an emphasis in farm and ranch management with a minor in soil science. I had always planned on going back to the family farm and taking over it one day. When I returned home to farm with the rest of my family, I realized that a lot of things had changed in the last several years. My parents and other family members had also noticed this change. This made us think about a few things which ultimately led my family to selling the farm. The reasons that led to this decision were that we were a small family farm which only had 400 acres. This is much smaller than what is required of a farm in this area in order to make ends meet. 1,000 acres seems to be the key number in order to be large enough that is sufficient to meet an average family farm needs. When I was in high school, my family rented over 1,000 acres, but we found that the only acreage that was available to us had very poor soil. This usually ended up with my family barely breaking even or losing money. Because of this, we let those acres go. Since renting ground wasn't working, we tried buying acres. This proved to be unprofitable due to most families unwilling to sell, or if they did want to sell their farm, they were asking a price that was so high it would never be profitable in my lifetime if commodity prices stayed constant. With those two things unavailable to us, we decided to sell the farm. It's the same story with the areas that we run our cattle. We currently are running our cattle with another family who we rent from, but we know our time with them is running out due to them wanting to grow their herd. Like farm ground, we've tried buying a ranch, but our efforts always prove to be in vain. My father has reminded me several times that he regrets not buying a ranch and more farm ground in the past because there was land available then, unlike now. The thing I've learned from this is to take an opportunity if it presents itself and is financially viable because it might not last very long or might never present itself again. Because my family has sold their farm and we know that our time is short running cattle up in the mountains, I am without a job. All these events have presented an opportunity for me to relocate to a new area to farm and run our cattle. I'm looking at different locations that we could move the family farm and our cattle for our ranch. The area that I decided to focus on is in the eastern Oklahoma area, which is similar to the picture on the right. These pictures are an example of the difference between the place where we are currently in Idaho, which is on the left, to where we want to move, which is on the right. The current place on the left is, as you can see, very dry, with not very much grass. It's very labor intensive because we are always moving the cattle from one field to another. We get to do the real things that the cowboys in Hollywood movies only dream about. In truth, we are real cowboys. This allotment is 50,000 acres that can run 500 head of cattle. The one on the right would be able to run 500 cattle with around 3,000 acres. That's a big difference. We know that we need more than just acreage to run our cattle on. We also need something to farm. In the eastern Oklahoma area, there are farms that are available that are much less expensive than the acreage where I am from, and we would also generate more income. Yes, we would own the ranch instead of having to rent and deal with other owners. We wouldn't have to worry about trying to find a place to rent every year. The poultry farm in itself would be able to generate 15% more income than our previous farm was able to generate. Over a 10-year period, it could be up to 100% more income than what we were able to make in Idaho. My family is my team. This would be a family-owned and operated farm. Family farms seem to be less and less common due to most people not wanting to farm. We are asking an investment of $300,000 for the farm in the Oklahoma area, We also will need help moving there. We are also asking a donation of current farm assets to the new farm. Through all of this, we will be able to help the new Hipwell Farm and Ranch restart at a new location. This would ensure that the Hipwell name will live on in the farming world. This would be a benefit for future generations in the family. I won't be able to live my life exactly I thought I would when I was 7 years old, when I was stomping around in my mom's garden. But I know an opportunity to farm anything would make my 7-year-old self very proud. Thank you.